Hey everybody, it's Dr. Scott. It is Atari's biggest fan. Yes, that is me. Well, I mean, I've had an Atari since I was about 9 or 10 years old, so, I mean, there's plenty of other big fans out there.
Dang.
They dropped the bomb today. They dropped a 2600 plus sized bomb, and they have released the Atari 2600 Plus for pre-order. Now, what is the Atari 2600 Plus? Well, I'm going to throw in my 2 cents. We're going to have a look at this, and we're going to discuss this just a little bit, but I'm going to throw my 2 cents and we're going to see what's going on here. So let's have a look at Atari's actual website. The all-new 2600 Plus, which will play 2600 and 7800 games. Now, that is great in theory. This is not an FPGA system. Now, this is $129. You can see that's only $129, so that's going to keep prices relatively low. If it were an FPGA system, if it was that kind of chipset, well, you're going to be looking at something a lot more expensive, number one. Number two, there's a compatibility list here. And that compatibility list kind of gives me pause because there are games that for some reason they didn't test, and there are games that have failed. Now, it does come with some pretty cool stuff. It comes with the cartridge here, which is a 10 games in one cartridge, and there we will go through that momentarily as well. It comes with, you know, your standard joystick, one button joystick, not bad, and of course it does have HDMI ports. Let's go through the photos here. So there's your 10 game in one cartridge, pretty cool actually. And according, one feature that they say that this thing has is the slot is a little bigger, so that way you can fit things in and out better.
That's what she said.
So you can see this lovely photo here. 10 games in one cartridge. And those 10 games are Adventure, Combat, Dodge 'em, Haunted House, Maze Craze, Missile Command, Real Sports Volleyball, Surround, Video Pinball, and Yar's Revenge. Now you see all these, those are dip switches. Those dip switches are on the back of the cartridge here. So depending upon which game you want to play, you have to put those dip switches in the right position, and it will actually bring up the right game. So this is not like all of those games are there and you can just choose it on a menu. No, 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 no. That is not what's happening here. You know, it's got your difficulty switches on the back, of course. HDMI port right here. I'm assuming this is the power. That's the only thing it could be. And I would imagine it's USB-C, which it better be. So will this play Atari game cartridges? Yes, it'll play 2600 and 7800 cartridges. And cartridges from the XP program. So the XP cartridges that they just released, it'll play those as well. Why wouldn't it? The chipset's going to be pretty much the same as the originals. How does the Atari 2600 Plus differ from the original 2600? Well, they have enhanced 2600 the following ways. It plays both 7800 and 2600 game cartridges, which we already talked about. HDMI output for your convenience for your modern televisions. Widescreen mode is available. 80% of the original size, so it's not going to be the same size as an original one. It's just going to be a little smaller. So pretty cool, a little more compact. And large cartridge slot reduces sticking. I never had a problem with mine. Now the 7800, I did have a problem with that. Those did stick, so I had my own solution for that. Interestingly, the Atari logo lights up when being played. Now that's a nice little aesthetic touch. You know, I like that. And yes, the original joystick and paddles will work. So it has the DB9 connectors, and you can actually use your original ones. Now, it does say here, right here on the website, there's the smoking gun. Yes, the Atari 2600 uses emulation technology to play cartridges. I kind of disagree with something they say here, no cartridge left behind. Not true. So let's talk about compatibility, shall we? There's a PDF here. We're going to go through this compatibility list real quick, and you can see that there's pass, untested, and fail. And untested to me means we either didn't have one or we didn't bother. So, I mean, you know, wait another month and get these cartridges. They're available. I'm sure somebody has them in a basement somewhere. I'm sure you can grab hold of them on eBay. But if you don't want to pay the price for some of the more expensive ones, like one I'll mention here momentarily, then I can understand why not. But look, some of these we shouldn't even care about because they're not cartridges either, like the cassette ones that came with, you know, that were for the cassette loading contraption that you could buy from a third party. Nobody cares. So it shouldn't even be on this list. So here's all the published by Atari ones. Fatal Run, nobody cares about, you know, basic math or fun with numbers. Nobody cares. Real Sports Boxing, it's okay. You're going to be missing out a little bit there, but that's okay. Signal tracing cartridge. What? Let's see, what else? Stargate. Seriously? Okay, so you don't have Defender 2, which is Stargate on here, so that means you didn't even bother. But Atari Stargate, really? You don't. I have a copy of Stargate if you want to test it. You want me to test it? Send me a system. I'd be happy. Listen, Atari, it's like this. I am happy. Game Closet is happy to be your ambassador. We would love to be your ambassador, but you don't have to fight us. Just put down the weapons and say, Game Closet, give us a hug. We will give you a hug back. We love Atari here. Let's get back to this. Billiard. Never heard of it. Nobody cares. Artillery Duel. That kind of stinks. You know, that's not a bad game. Burger Time. Really? You didn't check the M Network Burger Time? Now, no, don't get me wrong. The Atari 2600 version of Burger Time is kind of a stinker, but it's not horrible. You know, the Intellivision version is better. The ColecoVision version is better. The NES version is wildly amazing by comparison. It's fairly close to the arcade. But you can see some of these that they didn't even bother testing. Yeah, and I'm going to say that. They didn't bother. Well, we didn't get them in our office in time. Then wait a couple weeks. Go to eBay. Go to some garage sales. Go to a local shop. I'm sure you can get hold of them. You're Atari, for God's sakes. But some of the really super rare ones. Fireball. Cassette, nobody cares. Decathlon. Really? You didn't test Decathlon? Tron Deadly Discs? You didn't test that? Why? It just says Deadly Discs. It doesn't say Tron Deadly Discs. Is Tron Deadly Discs down here? Separate game? They consider it a separate game? Tutankhamun. You didn't check Tutankhamun? I don't know. Texas Chainsaw Massacre failed. Nobody cares. It's not a good game, and it's too expensive anyway. You want to play a crappy game, emulate it, and you'll turn it off in 30 seconds. There you go. But then here's the 7800 games, and, you know, Summer Games, that's not excusable. Rampage, that's not excusable. Motor Psycho, that's not excusable that they didn't test it. Commando, I believe that was an Activision cartridge. Yeah, whatever. But you can see most of the collection you can play. Will the Atari 600 Plus play the homebrew games out there? I don't know, but I'm glad that they've taken a step in the right direction here, and I'm glad to see that Atari is thriving and doing well. And September 6th is the premiere of Game Closet's first video for Season 3. It's actually 7:31 p.m. We'll be having our premiere, and the name of the episode is, I will tell you the full name, it is The Devil Inside AVGN's House plus Bad PS2 Racing Games Game Closet 4K. It is our first 4K video. Yay, finally. But that's everything about Atari 2600 Plus. Are you going to be ordering it? Are you excited? Is it not a big deal to you? You've already got your Atari and you've got everything you can hook your stuff up to a modern day console. Or are you just going to rush right out and grab it as soon as it comes out? So let Dr. Scott know. We'll see you all very, very soon. Take care. Thank you for subscribing to Game Closet. It's absolutely free, and you can help us get to our next goal of 1,000 subscribers. Hit the like button so YouTube will share our videos to more and more cool people just like you. We will see you very, very soon.